There was a time when sunlight turned the earth into a gallery, when elegant estates welcomed works of art that drew us closer and closer together. It was a captivating time. It was spring, this spring at Biltmore. Plan your visit or overnight stay so you can enjoy the marvelous works of Chihuly while every corner of Biltmore blooms. Reserve now to get spring savings at Biltmore.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This is a podcast from Minute Media.
Hashtag no music, no intro, no morals, no dignity. All you can just fucking do right now is laugh, bruh. Just laugh.
That is it, bro. I've been laughing my ass off.
Literally since this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, literally since you sent me a text, you're like, "Hey, you want to record real quick?" I'm like, "What?"
He's like, "How much more we got to talk about this until something happens?"
And I just checked Twitter, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Oh man, I love it. I'm not gonna say I love it, but it's just the way this shit played out is just hilarious, bro. Hilarious.
So we're recording this emergency podcast. Ryan's at work. He's in the car. Today's my day up. Just sweating, but we had to get this out because I want people to understand. In case you're living under a rock, the Deshaun Watson watch is over. He chose to go to the Browns in Cleveland, and in doing so, he's getting $230 million guaranteed when there's 22 pending sexual assault misconduct allegations that are still pending in civil court against him. And we're not going to have a very long episode, so this is an emergency podcast. We're not going to take too long. Ryan has to go back to work. But that said, the podcast will continue. And I need about a couple of minutes to just throw down like an old school wrestling promo right now on the Saints. Like I gotta clear my chest about this whole situation, bro. I gotta get it out. Bro. So to anyone who listens to this podcast that may work in the Saints, and we don't know people who listen to this podcast that work for the Saints, but in case you do, this is coming from me with my name on it. I hope this shit fucking hurts. I hope the way that the entire organization put all their time and effort into a man that has 22 that we know of sexual misconduct allegations against him, just for it to blow up in your face, just for you to sit for a week and a half on your ass, on your hands in free agency, not wanting to do anything with your cap space as you waited for him. I hope it hurts. I hope that when Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen and all the people in the front office have to have conversations with female relatives in their family, I hope they look at them sideways. Because in doing this for these last 2 weeks, you have alienated a fan base. Don't get me wrong. I know in a couple of weeks, things will be back to normal in Saints Twitter, blah, blah, blah. But there are some of us that aren't going to fucking forget this shit. You've alienated a fan base. You have coddled. You have played into the ego of a person who loves to have his ego stroked, who loves to be in the position of power, who loves to use his control. And you did this all tenfold for a week and a half just for him at the very end. To what did he do? He went to the Falcons and said, I need to get 50 million guaranteed. He had the Saints, you guys, and the Falcons looking like fucking idiots.
Like bitches.
And to the people that the Saints and the Falcons or any team that's been involved is to the people who may have been victims of sexual misconduct or sexual assault or sexual abuse. And then by doing so, seeing their favorite teams and be re-victimized and get PTSD for the shit that you put them through, this is on fucking you. And best believe that now that Ryan and I get to continue to do this podcast, I'm going to light your asses up every single fucking chance I get. Because this shit that's going down is deplorable. It's despicable. Now, yeah, we're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about the games. We're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of things that have gone on, that goes on with this team. But I'm never, ever going to let these motherfuckers live this shit down.
Yeah.
Because now what? You have $30 million in cap space. You don't know what's going to happen at your left tackle. You don't have an answer at quarterback. And so you spent so much time and energy and resources to appease this man, pleading him, begging him to come to the Saints, just roll out the red carpet. And if I ever get a chance to ask Mickey Loomis a question, if I ever get media credentials to ask him a question, I'm going to ask him, what were you worrying when you interviewed Deshaun Watson? Because now we called him number 22, call him number 23, number 24, because he just made the Saints and the Falcons and the Panthers his victims. In a football sense, he made them victims. He made them play into his fucking ego. And now you look fucking stupid. I hope someone from the Saints, honestly, what someone from the Saints need to do is they need to send someone out, get fucking Greg Benzel out there. Maybe he makes sure he's not sending emails to the Catholic Church in terms of how to coach them. They need to get someone out there and apologize to the fans.
Really?
I feel like I'm dropping like a wrestling promo right now, bro, because this shit has made my blood boil this entire time. And now that you are left standing, you're now just another victim of Deshaun Watson. Because you know what Deshaun Watson and his agent did to you guys? He made the Falcons and the Saints duke it out against each other. And just like he did on Instagram, he went out and he seeked the Browns on his phone, and the Browns gave him what he wanted. He said, let me go through my phone to see who's going to give me what I want.
Exactly.
He escalated. What we talked about on one of our episodes, bro, escalation. This whole entire situation, this week and a half of negotiations, blah, blah, escalating behavior. So just like the NFL investigators do to their victims and ask them really inappropriate fucking questions. So like, what were you worrying? Maybe you invited this. I'm going to ask Mickey Loomis what he was worrying when he missed out on the show.
Ask Gail Benson what she was wearing.
Come on, man.
Flew down there in Air Benson in a private jet to Atlanta for a second meeting to get on them motherfucking knees and say, please pick us. Like, I really would ask Gail if I saw her like in the supermarket or something. I know she'd be uptown New Orleans. I asked her, like, did you know? Like, did you know the scale of what he's being accused of? Did you know? Like, did anyone told you? Did you take direct time to read? Or did Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis just say, oh, we checked him out, we investigated, he's all good? I really want to know if she knows or not. Because I don't know. I can't answer that.
We can't. You know? We don't know. We don't know.
And maybe she did know. It's just like everybody else. It's just like, we're in the options.
You know what's even sad about this whole thing of him going to the Browns, bro? I was just thinking about it, man. Andrew Berry is a black GM.
Yeah.
And it's just the look of Andrew Berry, a black GM. They are paying him $230 million guaranteed, Ryan.
Guaranteed, bro. Guaranteed. Think of all the players who are worthy of guaranteed money. And he's getting it.
On top of giving up 3 first-round picks and probably some players as well. And now Adam Shep, I'm gonna block him. He's fucking sending out tweets of like the list of Browns quarterbacks that they've had in the last 10 years. Not like like, oh, all these quarterbacks for the Browns didn't work. But wait, here's their savior. Here he is. Deshaun Watson, the face of the Browns. Like, we might gotta get Mark on this episode real soon. Mark,
I mean, listening to him. I was listening to him today, and he sounds like us. Like he's just done.
He said he was done, bro. Done. He said, "I'm out. I'm out."
And that was before they got Deshaun. Just because of them flirting with him and how they, just the way the whole thing went down. He's done with him. So, and I get it. I 100% get it, man.
This is the same team in Cleveland that told Baker that they wanted to move on from him because they wanted a fucking adult in the room. Excuse me? Oh, it gets me hot, bro. Maybe it hits too close because of what I do for a living. I've also been watching a little too much. Maybe I've also watched a little too much SVU episodes. But what really is pissing me off, and shout out to Greg, shout out to Maddie, shout out to everyone who's had a voice within the media, any scope, whoever it is, right? We've gotten a lot of compliments and all that. We're just in our little fucking section of Twitter, bro. Like we're not quote unquote big, but something that we're not going to do. The NFL don't pay us. A team doesn't pay us. A company doesn't pay us. We do this shit just because we want to. So that means that we also get to say whatever the fuck we want and speak our minds. And so what we weren't going to do is just allow this continued enabling that these teams and that the NFL, in terms of the whole situation, have done. And honestly, for the Saints, them not getting him might have been the worst thing for them because now our podcast can go on and, bruh, they got to face the music and they will continue to face the music. So I'm going to get off my soapbox, let you speak. And also, I just want to hear your thoughts of like, now what? Now where this fucking team goes in terms of they haven't addressed a single player on offense. They signed 2 defensive players. Now what?
Well, on the bright side for them, they do have $30 million in cap space. They pushed the books far into the future. They got Celie Deuce over there stressing. Teron Armstead just chilling. They got a lot of work to do. They need to just go back to the drawing board and get back to work to filling out this roster. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for them. It's egg on their face from 2 levels. It's embarrassing from my perspective for going after the guy. And from their perspective, it's embarrassing that they went this hard to get him and didn't land him. That's just, it's embarrassing, man. It's just like egg on the face. And it's an egg on the face for Dennis Allen, as his first time coaching, going out. It's embarrassing to me, to Gail Benson, who was just on fucking being presented on NFL Network of women on the NFL.
The women of the NFL, bro.
Showing her old ass to get this dude down to the Saints. It's just, like, I look at them sideways, man. I look at the whole organization sideways now. I'm always going to love football, the Saints, however you want to phrase them, as a business, as a entity, as an institution. They're always going to be like a part of my life because I'm from New Orleans and it's kind of like just in your blood, but man, I don't think I'll look at them the same for a long time, at least. For a long time, man. Like, it's just, I couldn't even enjoy this week of free agency because of this shit.
Devontae Adams got traded yesterday, nigga. And it was just like, okay. Like, how crazy is that?
And that's another thing that hit me is like, we going this hard for this dude. And I know QB is the most important position. But man, all the moves that was being made for like impact players and we ready to bring in this dude and blow this thing up with 3 first-round picks, pay him big, huge money, trade impact players that we have on our team.
That all impact players that they drafted, cultivated, and as far as we know, in terms of off the field, I don't consider beating someone up, saying it's 20. I'm not, whatever. But players that on the surface are fucking just model citizens compared to Deshaun Watson.
And what is all we hear about? What have they preached the whole time Drew Brees was there? What have they preached all this time? Culture locker room, bro. Cultural locker room, bro. What culture is Deshaun Watson bringing?
Can we talk about how Jimmy Graham got traded out because he was a culture fit? He didn't vibe with the culture of Drew. Kenny Stills wasn't. They shipped out Kenny Stills and Jimmy Graham because they didn't fit with the culture of the locker room at the time. But yet, and I'll give Sean this, right? 2 things. We've given Sean Payton a lot of fucking flack on this podcast. A lot of it, right? I will say 2 things. One, he did in terms the 2017 draft was the crux of it. You can make, Mike Thomas was before that, et cetera, et cetera. But the core of that culture came from those drafts, and it came from signing DeMario Davis, et cetera, et cetera. That culture was created by them being due diligent and selective of who they drafted and who they signed in free agency. That built this culture that players in the NFL wanted to come to. Emmanuel Sanders wanted to come play for the Saints. The Saints became a destination where players wanted to go because, 1, it was because of the culture, and 2, they felt that they realistically would have a chance to win a championship. So you're telling me. So 1, I'm gonna give credit to Sean for building that culture and cultivating it. 2, okay, I'll just say this. I know it's kind of come out before, and if Sean Payton was still the head coach of the Saints, 2 things. 1, I am 99% sure Russell Wilson would have been a Saint. Period. I don't say shit on this podcast without. Anyway, Russell Wilson probably been a Saint. 2, if he wasn't a Saint, I can promise you and guarantee you that he wouldn't have gone after Deshaun Watson.
No.
He would not have gone after Deshaun Watson. So for Dennis Allen in his first move as his second stint of head coach, for him to go after someone of this caliber, top 5 quarterback, but all the baggage that comes with him, then you miss on him, and now the whole locker room is what? It's fractured, right? CD Deuce was tweeting in his feelings or Instagram for the last couple of days.
Yeah, man. Basically because they told him, look, you might be a part of this trade package if we get Deshaun.
Period. And that people were like, well, that would have been really dumb for them to tell him that if they didn't go. I think it was more just I think players would prefer to know ahead of time than just it being sprung on them, right?
Not just players, agents and all that shit. Correct. The agents got to work through all that shit too. You know what I'm saying?
But when you tell a player that they might get traded, and that trade don't happen, guess what? Just like the Saints got to start mending fences with CD, the Falcons got to start mending fences with Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan's like, y'all push my fucking bonus back till Tuesday for what? Right.
I mean, they did Matt Ryan cold, bro.
Dirty, bro.
From the business perspective, I completely get it. They put themselves in this position, you know what I'm saying? But I completely get it from a business perspective. If you want to move on from Matt Ryan and trade him, get it while it's getting good. But damn, this man been the fucking bedrock of the franchise since 2008, man.
Won an MVP, took him to the Super Bowl, and y'all do him like that? Damn. Cold-blooded, bro. Cold-blooded. So I get it, man. They wouldn't trade him to the Saints, obviously. But if Matt Ryan said, you know what, fuck y'all guys, get me the fuck out of here. Send me to Indianapolis. Send me to Indy. Could you blame him? Absolutely not.
And for Falcons fans, I think they should be grateful too. This did that because I mean, their roster already like bottom three in the league. They would have had to give up 3 picks, probably more, and they're already in salary cap hell. That shit would have set they would have had Deshaun Watson, and he probably would have been putting up like 500 yards a season, but they'd have been winning 6 or 7 games a season, bro. It'd have been just like they've been doing with Matt Ryan these years. Like, that shit would have been terrible.
Except they had a quote unquote better, fancier quarterback at the helm.
That's it.
I think I know how the Saints gonna try to fix this situation over at CD. They're gonna slide him over contract extension and say, "Hey, buddy, hey, let's make it better.
Let's make it a little better.
Make it better, bro."
JC Jackson type contract or something.
JC, you think JC?
Hey, bro, they getting paid, bro. They getting paid.
They are getting paid. So in terms of the options for the Saints at quarterback, okay, you have the Baker option that's out there, potentially huge, and I say this potentially because I don't think the Falcons ever do it. You have maybe the Matt Ryan option out there. You got Jimmy G. So I was reading an Alt Breer article that says that the Niners compensation they want for Jimmy G is 2 second-round picks. Someone needs to clothesline John Lynch. I don't know who he thinks has not seen Jimmy G play in the last year and a half, but
he can want that all he wants. He's not getting it.
There's no way. So I guess, and I guess I'm leaving out Jameis. Don't mean to. He's free agent. He has an offer from the Saints. Seems like him and the Colts have been talking, but if Matt Ryan or Baker goes to the Colts, it sounds like the Seahawks maybe want to get Baker. I don't feel like I think like the Colts are kind of having Jameis as their backup plan, just like the Falcons, or just like the Saints had Jameis as their backup plan. Out of those 3 options, Ryan, Baker, or 4 options, Winston, Jimmy G, do you have a preference in terms of which you would prefer if the Saints were to go after them?
I prefer Matt Ryan, depending on what we'd have to give up. Like, I'd give up our 18th pick for him.
You give up an 18th pick right now for Matt Ryan?
I'd give up our 18th overall pick for Matt Ryan. Easily.
Ooh, man.
Because to me, for the next 2 years, he'll give you 2017, 18-ish Drew Brees play. And to me, that number 18 overall pick would be worth that.
I would say that I think his contract and how big it is.
Right.
I think I couldn't give up 18 for him because of that contract. But if you ask me for a second, now we cooking. Like,
I'd give up 2 seconds. I'd give up 2 seconds.
Man, that's
easy.
Really? That surprises me. That surprises me a bit. But I get your point, because
you come into a dome, get better weapons around him. That's why I wouldn't try to give up too many picks, because like we got to build the team. But no, I mean, we could figure out the contract. The contract thing doesn't bother me too much, because look, they was about to get Deshaun Watson. Like, they was about to, who knows what type of salary cap.
So for any Saints fan or any fan in general who brings up the salary cap, please never bring it up to me again in life, ever.
They were going to fit him in there. Like, if they got Matt Ryan, he'd be getting like a $1 million base pay this year. They'll get the money front loaded. He'll get like a big, huge signing bonus, $40 million or something, and that'd be it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm 99% sure it won't happen. It won't happen. So my other preference would be Jameis Winston. It's not fun. I just would, like, if it was between Baker and Jameis, I'd just rather Jameis for a couple of reasons. 1, he's been in the system. 2, we've seen him perform in the system. 3, Baker is kind of similar to Jameis in certain ways, and like from the football aspect, where they don't see things right all the time. They have some really nice highs and some bad lows, and but I just think what we've seen, that Jameis is kind of better in the locker room, and Jameis, he can hit some of the plays that we're going to need more consistently. So I just think, for what it'll cost, and what he'd bring to the table, I think he'd be better. If Sean Payton was still here, I'd probably be more pro Baker, because I just think Baker really needs like that fucking coach that's gonna rebuild him. And I just don't see Pete Carmichael being that dude that's gonna like get Baker right. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna fix Baker. I just don't see it.
I don't either, but the one that has the most potential is Baker, right? I think we can all.
He has the highest ceiling ball, period. Like he can turn around, and because we've seen him in stretches be like a really good quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So he has that potential. I don't believe in it, just me personally, but he has that potential.
So the final trade for Deshaun Watson is Cleveland is getting number 24 and a 5th round pick, and the Texans get 3 first-round picks, a 3rd round pick, and a 4th round pick.
Say that again.
So basically, Cleveland is trading the Texans 3 first-round picks. Sorry, I got to pull it up. 3 first-round picks, a 3rd round pick, and a 4th round pick.
So they only had 1 pick this year, right?
Yes. Wait, who? The Texans? Or you mean Cleveland? Yes, they only had 1 pick this year. Yeah.
So that's a pick.
So they get
2022, 2023, and 2024.
So they basically get the 13th overall pick, and then exactly like you said, the 1st round pick in 2023 and 2024. I would say in terms of who I would go after, it's funny. Someone literally got my mentions because I said we were recording right now, and someone said, "Oh, are y'all glad? So you guys won't have to pretend like y'all were going to stop recording?" Like, man, wow. A, he got blocked. Secondly, we never said we were going to stop recording. I just said that the content wasn't going to be football. Like, so you got in my mentions, you talked funny, talking shit about shit you didn't even know, and you still got fucking blocked. Don't you feel fucking dumb? Hey, kind of like the Saints. Back to who I would pick. I know, and it's going to sound weird because I really can't stand him, but I think if you have a chance to get Baker just because of his age, I think, and here's the thing with Baker, right? His trade value would never be lower, bro. It like the Browns
they ready to get him out of there. They just ready to get him out the building.
You could probably get Baker for a 3rd round pick right now, bro.
And if you tell me I can get Baker for a 3rd, I gotta think about it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think you can get Baker for a 3rd. I know Pete Carmichael ain't the dude to like, but when you put on end of the year 2020 Baker, you put on him in the playoffs against the Chiefs, that Chiefs game, bro, you put on his rookie season, you like, oh. Now if you get Baker, you can, Jarvis Landry ain't coming, like, niggas ain't gonna want to play with Baker, bro. But
man, Mike Thomas might smack Baker because he been talking shit about Baker for years.
Has he? Oh man, maybe I missed that.
Back when we was Ohio State and shit, man.
How fucking funny. But I would say if you could get Baker for a 3rd because of his age, because of what he's shown, and again, I get it, right? In Cleveland, he had a dang good offensive line. Most times, he had Nick Chubb, Odell, Austin Hooper, and Njoku. Like, he really wasn't able to cook with them. And at least with Winston, you could say he threw a lot of interceptions in Tampa Bay, but like he also threw for 5,000 yards with like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So he knows how to utilize weapons. With Baker, it's you have to run a very specific offense with him. It has to be very run heavy, play action based. He has to see it before he throws it. He's like a rich man's Teddy.
And that's the thing I wonder about him, because that's what what's the head coach name?
Kevin Stefanski.
Kevin Stefanski. That's what he did. Like he really said, okay, I'm gonna focus on running the football. Got real conservative, and that's what pissed Baker off. Like, he was complaining all last year to the media about how conservative the offense is and this and that, because he wants to spread it out. He wants to, 4 or 5 wide receivers, shotgun, and spread it out like it's Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's what he wants to do. But you ain't built like that, buddy.
Not the buddy.
You're not built like Drew. You built like Drew Brees, because Drew Brees gonna read everything from the back to the front in a half of a second.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Before the ball is even snapped. So he has to get to the point where he's operating at that, and he's just not right now. Maybe he can in the future. You know, that's why I said, that's why I would love him with Sean Payton. Sean
Man,
Payton
if Sean was here, Baker would be a Saint right now. Right now.
I absolutely believe him because we know he liked him.
Loved him. But anyway, we're not gonna record too long. We just wanted to get this emergency podcast recorded, uploaded. You guys can listen to it.
Man, I really wanted to keep doing the podcast, so I'm happy he ain't coming.
Yes, right. Again, we feel as a pod like we were really just hitting our groove, right? Now Ryan asked me after we recorded the last pod off the air. He was like, "Shit, what about Vegas, man? Everything's booked." I was like, "Man, we can still go to Vegas and not fuck about the draft. We'll just have a good time, right? With our families, and it'd be chill." But now we can do the proper things where we request credentials, try to get to the actual draft if we want to be there, et cetera, et cetera. Neither of us wanted to stop doing the pod, stop recording or anything like that, right? But from the perspective of just where things were, I wouldn't have been able to continue to talk about football if he would have came to. I wouldn't have been able to. I have a lot of good people in my life that are Browns fans who are disgusted right now. So all that said, I had to get it off my chest about how I felt about the Saints. Felt like I said, I delivered like an old school wrestling promo, but it needs to be said. And again, I really hope that this experience, really, however this message can reach the Saints, I hope they hear it because they need to hear it. And we try to be the voice of Saints Twitter, and it's a very small portion, but we try to be the voice of the fans. And I understand that we don't speak for all fans or anything like that, but this was an embarrassment, a complete and utter embarrassment that the Saints put on along multiple teams for a week and a half, and now that's ended. They got to go back to the drawing board, and can they show us? One thing out of this, I will say, one thing I'm going to give them credit for, and this whole situation is it seems like they know how shitty Cesar Ruiz is, bro.
Yes. I've been holding my excitement for that.
Adam Schefter just
tweeted he'd be included in the trade. I'm like, fucking right. Get him out of my life, baby.
It says, after today, Adam Schefter just tweeted, after today's trade, free agent Jameis Winston is now expected to be back in play for the Saints. Plan B. So we're going to get out of here. Hope you guys enjoy this episode as more moves happen that the Saints continue to make in the offseason. We'll continue.
Yeah, man. Look, for people that wanted Deshaun that's listening, just look on the bright side. The Saints got $30 million. So they could still make some moves in free agency. They got 5 picks in the top 101 picks in the draft.
Yeah, man, we didn't even really hit on the fact that they have 2 third-round picks this year because of comp picks.
Yeah, so man, it could still be a good fun off season. We'll see how it ends, but it could still be a good fun off season. So if you're bummed out about not getting 22, cheer up. Things are still gonna be fun. And I think in the end, like your parents used to say, when it's all said and done, you're gonna feel a little better. You're just gonna feel a little better about yourself that we didn't get this motherfucker. I don't know when it's gonna be, and I'm not wishing it happens. I don't know if it's gonna be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, but it's gonna be a point where you're gonna say, I'm glad we didn't get that fucking guy. I'm telling you. Believe that.
I don't know if that point's going to come when the NFL suspends them for maybe half a season or a whole season, or 2 years down the line, 2.5 years down the line, there's going to be some explosive report that he's at it again. But it's going to happen. Trust me, it's going to happen. But that said, we're getting out of here. Hopefully, this is good news that you can start your weekend. If it's not, I don't know what to fuck tell you. But it's good news for us. And we'll continue to track everything as free agency unfolds. It's over. So with that, we're out of here. Until next time.
Peace.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.